Good morning. It's Mary Bates and I missed the dawn. Wanted to tell you about our new adventure starting on Monday. As I know a lot of you know, we are taking a Ukrainian family in. Our family is Victoria, who's a woman in her early 30s, and her two children, who are 10 and 13 years old. They're boys. The younger one's name is Maxim. The older one's name is Artem. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about them, because a lot of people have asked me questions, and well, I think it's kind of interesting. So they lived in the northern part of Ukraine, very close to the Polish border and also very close to the Belarus border. When the war started, Victoria said she went to the grocery store and got provisions, and then they headed for the Polish border because they were very close to where the troops were coming into Ukraine. And it took them about 50 hours to cross the border, and then they went into Poland. They ended up in a city called Łódź, and of course there were so many refugees coming from Ukraine into Poland at that point. And one of the people in Łódź who was taking in refugees is a woman named Yola, and evidently she had, multiple families of Ukrainians in her apartment sleeping on her floor. And she helped them, gave them a place to stay while they waited for or figured out what their next step was. Victoria decided that she would like to come to the United States. Most of the Ukrainian refugees prefer to stay in Europe, understandably enough. I think they really prefer to stay in Poland, where the language is most similar to Ukrainian. But Victoria and Artem and Maxim decided that it would be fun to come learn English and experience America. So Yola knows Doug's ex-wife and asked her if she knew any Americans, and she lives near Boston, asked her if she knew any Americans who would be interested in taking a Ukrainian family in, and she called us because we'd already talked with her about this, and that's how Victoria and Maxim and Artem came to live with us, or are coming to live with us. Doug's ex-wife herself has a Ukrainian refugee, but her apartment is, her condo is much smaller. Doug and I are fortunate that we live at a time in our life when, we're fresh out of our own kids, and we have a bunch of spare bedrooms and some spare time. So we're at a position where we can take a refugee family in. We're looking forward to our adventure. They don't speak English. We have no idea. We don't speak Ukrainian. We have no idea, really what they like to eat, all that kind of stuff. We think it will be fun. We've already gotten to know Google Translate very well. In Ukraine, Victoria ran a child care center. Yola describes her as a go-getter. So she went to Poland in April, and due to the how fun it is to get things through the immigration services, it took us until now to get everything sorted out, and we did. And during those 4 months of time, Victoria got a job in Łódź, working in childcare, of course, and got an apartment. And her landlord and her employer both requested that she give them 3 weeks' notice. When we, when we got notification that she could come to the United States, we let her know, when do you want us to, get your tickets for? And she said, well, my employer and my landlord asked me to give them 3 weeks' notice. And so she stayed an extra, probably 2 weeks over what, she had to do in terms of, like, we could have gotten her a ticket for the next Monday. But because she was grateful to these folks for having given her a job and a place to stay. I mean, she paid them and worked for them, but still, I think that shows a level of responsibility and respect and gratitude that I admire, because it would have been very easy for her to say, I'm out of here, and leave her employer and her landlord sort of in the lurch. But she didn't, so I'm impressed by that, and I wanted to share that with you. A lot of people have asked if there are things they can do to help, and we have no idea right now, for the most part. We're going to do a GoFundMe for the plane tickets, and we're probably going to do, I think we'll also include it for getting Victoria a car. You can get a driver's license without speaking English, and that will be the key to Victoria, getting a job here and saving up enough money for a security deposit and etc. So we will be doing a GoFundMe. If you know how to do GoFundMes, contact me, because that would be another way someone could help us to take care of that for us. And that, for now, that's all we know we need. And the reason we're doing the GoFundMe for the tickets is because Victoria said she would like to pay us back for them, and we want her to be saving up her money for getting her life going here. The United States government has said that Ukrainians are allowed to stay for 2 years, and then they are required to leave. Hopefully by that time the war will be over and Victoria can just go back to her life if that's what she chooses to do. The past, unfortunately, being a good predictor of the future, we have no idea if that is how it will go. So, we have no idea what the future looks like for, really for any of us. Let's be honest here. But we think we have an idea of what the future looks like for ourselves, but Victoria and Artem and Maxim have not even that pretense. All right, well, there's a cheery note to end with. Sorry I missed the dawn. It's when I got myself out of bed and put my clothes on, started putting my clothes on, there was pretty pink light, and by the time I made it out here, it was gone. If you're watching this video from any of the town groups that I post these to, this is the last one I'm going to post to town groups, because because it's not really the purpose of the town groups to have these videos in it. But if you want to follow me, you are more than welcome to. Hopefully I will have a video of Victoria and Artem and Maxim for my next update. They're arriving, like I said, on Monday. When I come home from work on Monday, Doug will have been to the airport, and hopefully they'll have been through customs and immigration, and we'll all be on the lake. All right. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy 300th Nottingham, and thank you for listening.